So moving on, the next sign is Leo. It's a fire sign, and it's a fixed sign and a fire sign, which means that they have a strong core identity, and that the fire is like they're visionary and creative. And of course, people say of Leo, they're proud. Well, yes, they are proud, and they often carry themselves very proudly, and they have a very sensitive ego and love to be praised. But at the same time, they're also extremely warm and giving. People tend to gravitate around Leos and enjoy the kind of sun. The sun rules Leo, so they kind of got this wonderful warmth and charisma. Very creative sign. And if Leo wants success, prosperity, and fulfillment, if they want to lead an authentic life, they have to express their inner identity, performing in some way, some creative task. And they like a leadership role, or if not, they have to be in a position where people show them respect. Leos need to be respected. That way, they're going to have success. So here's your Leo quiz. A noisy and badly dressed person sits opposite you on the train. What do? You inform him where the third class compartment is. You frown and hide behind your copy of the Financial Times. You put earplugs in and listen to music. Well, Pisces might do that. Capricorn might hide behind their copy of Financial Times, but Leo doesn't like bad style, and they tend to be slightly snobbish. So I think the third class compartment is what's going to happen there. Okay, moving on to a completely different sign, Virgo. This is an earth sign and a mutable sign. This shows that they're very adaptable but very realistic. So Virgos are known for their perfectionism and their organizational abilities. They're extremely good at filing and organizing a disparate mass of things. They have a sort of automatic filing cabinet in their head. They're also extremely conscientious and very helpful. They're very motivated to help people. So if a Virgo wants prosperity and success, if they want to be fulfilled, they need to be in a role where they feel that people are helped through what they do. And they're perfectly happy to integrate themselves into an organization and play a subordinate role. They don't have to be leaders. They can, but they're not expert leaders. They prefer to delegate tasks and get the task to delegate from some leader. Of course, Virgos can be leaders, and I think Richard Branson of Virgin Air is a Virgo. So any sign can be anything, in fact. But Virgos work extremely well with other people. They don't have a big ego, and they're very helpful. So here's the Virgo test. Your child comes home with a stray cat. What do? You tell the child to take it back where it's found. You explain that it's humane to have stray cats put down. You keep it, but only after a worm cure, flea spray, and vitamin injections, which of course is what you do, because Virgos very health conscious and they like animals. They're very good with small animals. They would never put a cat down. They would try and save it. Okay, so those are the first 6 signs, and the first 6 signs are kind of signs which are more orientated around the self, whereas the next 6 signs are more orientated towards other people. So if we take the next sign, Libra, this is a cardinal air sign, so it's social, mental, but also takes initiatives. That's why they're really good matchmakers and diplomats, Libras. They like people, they need partners, they need to find themselves through relating to others. And as such, they always tend to be willing to compromise. They'll make a compromise for the sake of peace, and they always want to be fair. But at the same time, people say of Libra that they're indecisive. because they're weighing the options and they don't really want to come down on one side or another. You should never ask a Libra to take sides. It's just not in their nature. And for a Libra to be successful and to have prosperity and authenticity in their life, they need to be in a situation where they're relating to people, where they're using their fantastic judgment, their cultural and artistic taste. Libra's got great taste. And they also need to be in a role where they can take decisions. They are decision makers. They're just very considerate in the process. That way they'll have fulfilling lives. Here's the Libra quiz. You're invited for dinner at the home of an acquaintance who you don't really like, so what do? You refuse the invitation politely but firmly. You turn up and end up giving the person a return invitation, or you come with a complicated excuse about being allergic. Well, yeah, Libras tend to be very polite. And so they often end up doing something they don't really want to do, but they didn't want to offend the other person. So we're definitely going for number 2 on that one. So the next sign, the deep and mysterious Scorpio. This sign is a water sign and it's a fixed sign. So it shows powerful emotions that are kind of kept inside. So Scorpio tends to be incredibly magnetic. You can sense they're feeling something very strongly, but they rarely let on. They're very secretive, so they rarely let on what they're feeling. But they never forget an insult or an act. You can't be unfaithful to a Scorpio, and they're not likely to be unfaithful to you. They know how important an emotional bond is and how painful it is for it to be broken. So if you hurt a Scorpio, they're not very likely to ever forgive you. But on the other hand, they're incredibly loyal, and they often have this magnetic aura which is empowering. They've got this empathy, and when they're giving, they're really giving a lot to people, and they empower them. So a Scorpio is also extremely good at finding secrets. They would be very good working in an airport as a customs official. Nobody could get past their X-ray eyes. So they need a job where they can research things or study things in depth, or work with what's kept under the surface. So they're natural psychologists, you could say. They're very good at finding out the emotional depth and background for people. And then they're going to be fulfilled, then they're going to have success. Of course, Scorpios like money. It's the opposite sign of Taurus, and they have a connection. But they're more interested in not feeling anxiety. They want security, and they'll work very hard to get financial security. And they're very good at it because they're very one-pointed in there and very concentrated when they decide on something. And very powerful too. So here's the Scorpio quiz. While driving on the motorway in the fast lane, a large black BMW tailgates you and flashes its lights. So what do? So you stay within the speed limit and stay in the fast lane. Or you nervously move aside and let it pass. Or you accelerate and try to start a racing competition. And Aries would do that, wouldn't it? No, you never want to get into a battle of power with a Scorpio. They'll stare you down. They'll never give up. And you're going to stay in that fast lane and stick to that speed limit until the other guy gives up.